Hello, Star Lovelies. It's a great time to be a soul. Today we're talking about
Happy May. Here we are. We've made it to May. And I've titled this, Are You Ready to Blast Off? Because May just amps up the dial as it goes through the month. But let's start at the beginning. So the beginning, we have Beltane in the Northern Hemisphere, and we have Samhain in the Southern Hemisphere. And so what does that mean? That means that it is one of those, I call them the cross quarters, and it's not a heightened Wheel of the Year energy. It's more one of those subtle ones. And so I think of it as an initiation. I think of these as like the work ones, because we've got the equinox, we've got the solstice on either end. And then in between that time, we have things like Imbolc, which is February 1st here in the Northern Hemisphere. And then May 1st is, like I said, Beltane. So in the Northern Hemisphere, we're talking about springtime. We're talking about the harvest. We're talking about, and when I say harvest, I mean like that reaping of the soil where you're going and you're fertilizing it, you're getting it ready, and you're planting those seeds. And so you're taking the harvest from the prior year and you're saying, what seeds have dried out? What bulbs do I have? What am I planting? You probably have started this a little bit sooner, depending on where you are. However, wherever you are, you're in that, we are now expanding, we are growing. Whereas in the Southern Hemisphere, you're in the, we are waning, we are getting ready. It's that bittersweet time. We are giving over to the quietness of winter. And yet, from a zodiac perspective, it's the exact same energy. We are in that Taurian time right now. And so we are in that earthly kiss of, we have awakened through Aries, and now we are determining how we are sprouting ourselves. And so we are saying, am I a tulip? Am I a elm tree? Am I a prickly pear? Like whatever it is that we feel as if we are, we're coming to be. And I love the beginning of May because there's a sweetness, there's a savoring, there's a sensorial factor that is here because it's Taurian. And so if you're in that springtime, you're getting those first like hints of spring. The sun is getting a little bit stronger. You're seeing those green shoots start to sprout. You're seeing those flowers starting to blossom. You're seeing everybody in their plumage coming out. But if you're in that fall time frame, you're seeing that last breath of those colors, and they have that like before they then start to fully extinguish. And there's a sweetness to that too. And it is very sensorial. And you're looking for more of those warming spices and those warming energies, whereas in the Northern Hemisphere, you're looking for those cooling ones. So there's that juxtaposition. And May is just like, I'm just May, like I'm just May. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm just May. So yes, hello, May. And we have just a few more days cosmically of those planets being direct before Pluto turns retrograde on the 4th. And so the personal planets finally gave over, in the middle of April to all the retrograde, I don't want to say nonsense because I really don't want to say it because they're much more serious than that. But man, oh man, that was a long 6 months. So there's a breath. There's either a breath in or an exhale and a sigh, depending on how you manage your way through that. And other big energies here in May, there are 3. There are 2 energies that have to do with the collective soul destiny. And that's one with Uranus exciting it on the 9th. And then there's one with Jupiter squaring it on the 18th. And I'll talk about what that means. And then we have the big one, the one that I've been talking about since last August in earnest. And that's where Saturn is entering Aries. And so this is the put up or shut up time around the awakening. And Aries is bold-faced, let's go, I'm super fiery, let's take action. And Saturn is, yes, but let's take the right action. Let's have integrity, let's be mature, let's be responsible, let's make sure it is in your best interest, let's prioritize this, let's make it real in functional ways that feel like we're building something. Let's not just break things down. So it's going to be really interesting to see the combination of Saturn and Aries. So we had this last time in 1996 through 1998. And if you want to, look back and see, I've done a whole full article on this. You can see all the energies here. I've looked at it through your chart so you can see where it hits What's your house? We're going to go ahead and put that in the show notes. It will be on my blog. So it's kimwoods.com/blog. It's right there because I go through all the energies for the last time that Saturn was in Aries, but there's a whole separate everything for that. So you can go ahead and check that out. For here right now, I want to tuck this energy into May because I want to put it in its season. And so we just had that movement with Neptune. So this is a 14-year energy. We've got Neptune and Saturn coming together pretty closely for months this year and then fully at the top of next year. And so that's where I've been talking about that, whether it's ill-fated or not, that escapism that's happened for the last decade and a half. And now it's a time. It's literally time to just, like I said, put up or shut up. Just do it. And so for you, if you've kicked the can down the road for an awful long period of time, and I run into so many people that, not really in my world, because I got to tell you, if you're in my world, you're taking action, right? Like, yeah, hello, I see you. But if not, and if you kind of like whisper around, or if I know you very casually, so many people, because I've authored so many books, they'll say, oh, I have a book in me. And I just look at them without judgment. And I just say, that's very interesting. And if they want to continue the conversation, one of my first questions is going to be, what have you done about it? Oh, well, I have this great idea. I love that idea. That's wonderful. What have you done? Yeah, I love that idea. What have you done? That's Saturn talking to Neptune, by the way. Like, I've got an idea. That's so great. I love that you have the idea. That's really, like, literally Saturn's talking to Neptune right now. That's really cute. That's super cute that you have the idea. That's awesome. And then Saturn's basically like, yep, tell me more. Because Saturn is really looking at it honestly and saying, that's either a cute idea that you have and you can just sit on it, or you can do something about it. Saturn is a little tough love like that. And so it's not like we're going to all of a sudden get body slammed with tough love at the end of the month. We're not, because we're just not. I'm not saying the world isn't, though, because as much as we've had that wake up call at the end of March, it was kind of a whisper, right? Like it could have been a really big deal. We could have rolled up our sleeves and said, holy crap, wow, look at this. I haven't seen it like this before, right? We had that choice, but free will, right? We could have, but we didn't. So now it's like, okay, so Saturn is really going to be starting to hard charge on things and say, yep. And how real is that? Right? Like, did you actually take all that money out from the government, or are you just talking about it? Did you actually set up that negotiation for trade like that, or are you just talking about it? Oh, did you actually, whatever, right? I'm in the geopolitical world. So I don't have to be. I can be anywhere. Did you actually put a table of contents together for your book, and are you actually writing it or not? And it's your choice. But I got to tell you, you've had a decade and a half of just kind of kicking the can down the road. That's all over. Honestly, that's all over for the rest of your life. Because even though we've got a whisper of this energy coming back because of the way the retrogrades work in Q4, we've got Jupiter. It's super supportive, so it's going to feel really, really good for a lot of us, but we've got Jupiter making everything bigger. So for those people that are afraid of like missing the boat or getting off track or whatever, it is going to be massively amplified at the end of the year. So let's do it now. Super easy. And May gets us ready. May totally gets us ready. We've got this gorgeous energy of that consummation of that god and goddess energy with May 1st and this season of power. And so we've got the masculine and feminine starting to really, meld together. And so that feels really good. We've got that purposeful power with that innocence of the newness and the I don't know, and I haven't quite formed it yet, and I don't really know what I'm doing, past that planning phase and coming into be. Okay, you've had that idea about the book and you don't really know, but you put the table of contents together and you really thought about it, and you really looked at either creating time for yourself or creating support for yourself to be able to do that. Now you're going to roll up your sleeves and write the book. Great. That's awesome. That's what this energy is. And so when we're looking at those big planets, that I've talked about two things with that collective soul destiny. And the first one in that May 9th is you get to be more of you. And then the second one on May 18th is exciting new shifts for you're expanding your soul and expanding your soul mission. And then we've got the Saturn where you get to break through limits and fears. So that's awesome. all really good, right? And so we get to have this your time, right? Like, remember I talked about with Neptune, like you're in the van and you're like totally hanging out and you're not worried about anything. And then you wake up and you come out of the van and you're like, oh, damn, it's been so long, right? Well, with Saturn here right now, Saturn's like, yes. And you know what? Now's the time for the upgrade. Now's the time to get back to school or revisit your brand. It's time to, get rid of outdated things. It's time to up level your offering. It's time to adjust your pricing. It's just time. It's over this whole escapism and kicking the can down and like turning your back on everything. It's over. It's over. And I for one, am just super skippy about that. I am so happy about that because now, what's now? It's time for your dreams to come true. It's time for those ideas to come to be and to be in the world. And so we say yes to that. We've got a beautiful full moon that helps build our reserves. And then we've got a new moon that helps us create our success. We've got these beautiful magical energies that come in. The oracle card is the number 11 for trust. It's be secure and feel safe enough to let others support you, to let the universe have your back, to not be expecting the other shoe to drop, to know that you are immune when you are in your soul mission, to give yourself your energy to make manifest that which you truly believe and you truly desire. We've got a beautiful spirit animal of the nightingale. The nightingale reminds you to find your voice. Think about a nightingale. They sing at night when no one's looking. And that's okay. That's how you find your voice. You find your voice in those quiet spaces. You find your voice with people that you trust. You find your voice by practicing. So you get to find your voice in this safe container for yourself. And if you have found your voice already, now you get to sing in front of others. Now you get to speak. Now is the time. It's not the time for you to continue to have to put things off because the energy's ready. The world is craving you. And so that really is beautiful too. Because when I first looked this month, I was talking about making it count. And this is one of the ways. Saturn wants us to make things count. I adore the crystal that came in. It is petrified wood, and that is ancient wood that has gotten so incredibly, quite frankly, hardened that it's turned into stone. And so petrified wood is so earthy. And as we move through May, the petrified wood gets along with Taurus because it totally understands it. Like it has that grounded energy, that natural function, that beautiful weathered kind of look at things. They both share that. And then the third week we go into Gemini. What? Gemini has no clue what any of that is, right? Like Gemini's like, yeah, but wait, I'm gonna go to the top of the mountain, I'm gonna breathe that rarefied air, and I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna shout from the rooftops, and I have so many things to say, and I'm never gonna be grounded, and I'm just gonna go fly. And petrified wood is over here saying, you know what? It would be really great for you to be grounded a little bit. It would be really great because Saturn's going to kick your ass if you're not. Because that's another way. We think that inaction is the only way that we escape. Oh no, overaction is another way that we escape. And so the petrified wood is here to just meet you and say, huh, let's just have the rhythm that makes sense for you. Let's understand that your body is not a robot. And I'm just going to say something really weird right now, that even though you can ask ChatGPT 27 questions to get answers, doesn't mean you're going to do anything with those 27 answers. So even though you can move really fast, doesn't mean you should move really fast. That's what petrified wood is all about, and I adore that. And then honeysuckle comes in for the flower essence, and honeysuckle is about being too stuck in things. But I had this idea 12 years ago and it was really good and I haven't really done anything about it. And the book would be awesome and whatever. And meanwhile, you have grown so far beyond the book that that's just an idea you're not letting go of. So that's where you're finding your voice in those quiet spaces. Does that still make sense for you? Does it even go with you? I've got like 7 books almost all written and they just don't go with me anymore. So I've put them in part of products and they're just there. At the time, I thought I was going to do something with them. I didn't have time to actually finish and then publish and then do all the things with them. So that energy hasn't gone nowhere. That energy has informed a ton of my work now. That's what I'm talking about. My voice would be so, 2010 if I stayed in that energy. So just because I did a lot of that quote unquote work around it doesn't mean that that was the form it was supposed to take. So I'm sharing that with you because honeysuckle lets you let go of things like that. Shelve that. Take pieces of it if it makes sense. You come into you now. It's 2025. Who are you today? Who do you want to be tomorrow? That's the energy. And then you leverage what has been in the past so you can bring that forth in the clearest possible way. Yum. So May, yum. I'm an intuitive visionary, though, so I can say it. So May is super yum for me. I'm just like thrilled that we've gotten here. Can't believe that we're here. Yay! Depending on what your signature is, though, will depend on how you're feeling about this month. So if you haven't taken that quiz to determine your signature, go ahead and do that now. Answer those 12 questions. It's at your starmaptosuccess.com. The other thing you might want to do is go to my blog and bookmark this article. I write a star planner every single month, and it's many pages. And this one I go through the season because the season of power is new for this year. And then I go through the weeks, and I go through the big star energies, and I go through these magical tools, and then I go through your tips. And when I hear from a lot of people, they have it at the ready for themselves with it so that they can go through. And if you like to plan, because I do the weekly podcasts, obviously. So if you don't like to plan, you don't have to look at that. You can just look at this magical piece of it. Because I always will have those weekly success maps be informed by your monthly tips. So for you, wise strategist, May is 2 months for you. The first part you adore. You love the rhythm of it. You love that breath that you just got. You like that new energy that's come in. And then that last part of the month, the dial starts to move a little bit too fast and you feel some distraction. So go ahead and do some course correction, just slight. You're in the 1 degree, 2 degrees course correction, not anything big, and then hold steady. For you, intuitive visionary, as I said, guess what? You adore this. You adore every single thing about this. Your only caution is to stay grounded. It's to just not go like off the rails of like 27 more new ideas because people won't be able to catch up to you. And that is an escape. So let people be in sync with you and invest in those areas that people are resonating with. For you, collaborative explorer, this is beautiful. You get to be deliberate in your approach. You're not going to just want to waste energy with other people's kind of whatever their adjustment is or whatever their changes are. You're going to be very much, really deliberate and know you're in the right place at the right time. The only thing I will tell you is start putting yourself out in front of people because people are waiting for you to hear what you have to say. And then ruling warrior, it's sales time. Sell, 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 sell. So fun. In the weekly, I do give you some other things to think about. One of the weeks is lifetime value for the client. Another one is like showing appreciation. Like it's all good, but it's all around sales. And then for you, creative superstar, this is where you can start gaining that attention and those eyeballs, but you also want the purses and the wallets. So make sure that you are asking and offering and converting. And then for you, loving alchemist, the tempo starts to amplify a little bit too much by the end of the month. So just pace yourself. Just remember, you're not going to start moving faster than you want to move because that is not going to do you any good. You are a beacon for people, and the beacon doesn't then go on a super jet and go fly away. The beacon stays and is very methodical. So just remember that. And so, yeah, it's just awesome for you. So May is really, it's a turning point as we're starting to roll in the energy of the back half of the year. We absolutely want to make this year count. So let's go ahead and do that. And as always, thank you so much for listening and sharing with friends. Happy, happy May and happy soul tidings.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more ways to use the stars strategically to align with your soul purpose, reclaim your power, and increase your prosperity. Please rate and review your favorite episodes, and remember to check out my website at kimwoods.com for my latest forecasts, articles, and offerings. To find out your intuitive success signature, take my 12-question Do You Know, Like, and Trust Yourself quiz and find out how you're living your stars at yourstarmaptosuccess.com. I've so enjoyed our time together as it's filled with the power of the stars plus strategy to clear the pathway to your success. Until next time, happy soul tidings.